unfortunately, we got some very bad news that Anthony Rumble Johnson is no longer with us. Apparently has passed away at the age of 38. We were in the middle of doing predictions for this fight night.
Yeah, I just happened to be on ShareDog and I see an article saying Bellator and UFC vet Anthony Johnson passed. I was like, dang. Which when they say he has health problems, you can kind of see something like that coming. Because if this would have happened a month ago, it would be worse. But because they said he had health problems, kind of expected a little bit, kind of catch you up. It's kind of like soft as a blow.
Like a month ago, they did say something about he was battling some type of illness, and we posted on the page to like keep him in the prayers. But if I didn't see that post myself on Twitter, I wouldn't have known he was battling anything because I hadn't just really heard from him. But man, this is crazy, man. He was one of our favorite fighters for the longest time. Like when we got into MMA, I told you this, like
it was the one fight when he said I got speed and I got power. He said I just got to put them together.
That's when he fought
Tommy Spear. Yeah.
Man, we had just started watching MMA. Really, this is one of our first cards. Just watching it and really getting into the sport like that. Because we started with the Ultimate Fighter, and then like we just kind of fell in love with Anthony Johnson and Rumble Johnson. A lot of my friends said a lot of people got into MMA because like watching him fight.
Yeah, and nobody think about the fact that these fighters got liars outside of fighting, man. And it sucks, man, when we hear stories or when we hear news about fighters dealing with this, and then same thing with Theodorus.
Yeah,
it's just like, man, we starting to hear that more and more, but.
Yeah, Elias, man, like that was sad. Even Josh Thayman, remember?
Oh man,
it's like unbelievable. Man, it's hard to process.
It is because they world class athletes, man. You would think that them being in shape would kind of help out with.
People got different things going on. It could be genetic, it could be anything, but
at least he has his legacy he left behind, and he fought for the belt. He fought for the UFC belt, man.
I wonder if he got children, man. I don't really know.
Oh yeah, he has kids. Yeah, I read this article.
Oh
yeah, he has children, man. I think that's what fighters fight for, man. They fight for their legacy, because even when they pass or if something was to happen, they leave behind a fight career for us. And you type in Anthony Johnson and on YouTube, he has a bunch of fights that he can always leave behind for us.
And man,
it sucks, man, because he's probably one of my top 3 favorite fighters.
I know, man. Like when you looked at the article and you gasped, and I was like, what? I'm thinking a fight got announced. And then when I seen it, I'm like...
Because I had to think, I was like, it said Anthony, and I was like, oh, God, don't say Anthony Johnson. It said Johnson. I was like, oh, God.
And it ain't even about the fighting. And man, he was 38 years old, man. Dude, when Takeoff passed away, I was watching a TikTok, and there was some guys doing a podcast, and it was older gentleman. And he said that basically when he found out that Takeoff passed away at the age of 28, he started crying because he was like, as an older man, he was saying there are so many things from 28 to 40 that he got the experience that Takeoff won't get the experience. And then there was things from 40 to 50 and 50 to 60. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just so many possibilities of things, man. I know he was going into business, Anthony Johnson. He was doing like a cannabis company or something.
Yeah.
And just kind of... And one thing I want to say is, man, we always focus so much on fights, and it's like, when you gonna get back to the cage? Like, now I feel bad because I kept thinking, like, when is Anthony Johnson gonna get back to the cage, and when is he? And it's like, man, you were sick the whole time.
No, I don't think so, because he fought in Bellator. He took
no,
time.
But I'm saying, but was he? Remember, he didn't fight for a long time, and then he fought once, and then he didn't fight again. In my brain, every time I heard his name, like I looked into his cannabis company and stuff. Like I would just do research just to keep up with what he's doing. But seeing them as just as fighters, man, that's why I always talk about how are they going to retire and how they're going to take care of their health. And what happens if, worst case scenario, you pass away? What's in place for your children and your wife? That's why we talk about on this channel a lot. It ain't just fighting. We really talk about a lot of other stuff that it might seem boring, but it's the bad times like this where that stuff will come into play if everything is in order. I hope his children's taken care of, and we'll do some research and see if they are raising money or doing whatever. And we'll help out any way we can and just try to donate, man. But God dang, man.
And especially if you're a fighter, because the goal is to have a long career so that, your family's taken care of. Yeah. But then you got fighters, they fight exciting to try to please the fans, and then their careers be short. You know what I mean? But then you try to have a long career, and then now it's like you might get cut because you really ain't going out there fighting aggressive. So it's almost like a lose-lose, man. So I mean,
and it's crazy, man, because I remember he used to have trouble making weight, and then I think he was having kidney problems. I don't know the details of what happened in this situation, but I'm just saying I remember them bringing up kidneys and stuff a few times trying to make weight, and there was times he didn't make weight, and he was just saying it was just too much to drop down. And we don't really think about the long-term effects of what happens to fighters and what they put their bodies through, man. But this is devastating.
Like weight cutting, worst extreme cases of it that we've ever seen. Like cutting from 220 to 170. So I mean,
and that's just not on top of whatever else might be. You may have something that's latent that just pops up out of nowhere. You might have something genetic that you've been dealing with. Nobody really knows, man. But hopefully his family will be taken care of, man. And if he was dealing with a lot of pain, at least now, you know, your physical vessel is you're not in pain no more, man. And hopefully you're in a better place. And
that ain't sad, man. Like, it's sad to hear.
Hopefully his family, you know, we'll keep him in our prayers and everything, of course. And y'all do the same, man. Just dang, man, I hate to hear this.